Welcome back, everybody. We are still rocking on. It is 5 a.m. We're at 5 a.m. now. We're coming up to our 24th fact, and we are looking great on the money front. We have raised £82,000, $147. Well,
that's a hell of an exchange rate we've got going there.
No, we're doing really well. Thank you so much. But we would love more. So if you are able to donate, please, it's for such a great cause. This is for Comic Relief. It's a charity that spreads its funding into so many interesting and really useful charities that just help in areas that you didn't realize needed help. And that's what's so great about them. They just hit on everything, and all this money will go towards helping that stuff. So just quickly, as a shout out, thank you to Kendall Fish and Keelan Hegarty for your donation. Thank you to Quentin for your donation. These are just such generous donations coming through, the amounts as well. So we really, really appreciate it. And let's keep it going so that we can crack 100,000 in the next 10 minutes. If possible.
Yes.
Yeah.
So optimistic.
But look, we can dream. Why don't we bring in our next guest? We are heading all the way back down to New Zealand. This is very exciting because we're going to see a trophy-winning comedian, a trophy that is unique and currently, I imagine, the only one of its kind in the world. We are talking to the winner of, it's a comedian, but also Taskmaster New Zealand champion. It is Angella Dravid.
Woo!
Hey!
Oh, this is the trophy.
Wow.
Look at that.
That's your version of Greg Davis.
It's it's such a big head. His name is Jeremy Wells.
Nice.
Is that the size of his head?
That's the size of it. Look at it.
No.
Okay.
What's on the bottom? Can you lift it? Can you lift so we can see the base of it? Oh, cool.
Oh, nice.
It's all plaster, so it's real heavy. Like, works as CrossFit.
Wow. We've got... There's very little context here, so we don't know if you've got quite a tiny head, actually, or if he's got a very big head.
According to my mum, it was a pretty big head.
There's the context you were looking for, Anna.
Yeah.
She would know, I guess. Okay.
Yeah, I feel bad for his mum now.
His mum probably tells him he's got a perfectly nice sized head.
Yeah. I hope he was the last kid.
All right, let's get into it. Let's do our facts. So it is time for fact number 24, and that is Angella.
Oh, okay. So in New Zealand, vending machines, Coca-Cola vending machines had Kia ora mate, which in Maori means hello death.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, so you'd say Kia ora mate.
Were they going for, was that some sort of weird publicity move that they decided on?
No, it was a mistake. I think they were trying to make it English and Maori at the same time, but
they weren't just really opening up about the health values of Coca-Cola.
No, I don't think they were like, be optimistic about your mortality.
Yeah.
Let's just be honest with them. Fuck it. Let's just tell them the truth and see if it works.
What are those things called where you have them in your house and they remind you that you're going to die one day and it's
Memento
good?
Mori.
Memento Mori.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. That is amazing. It's extraordinary when people don't do their research to that extent. I know we get it down, but that's a new level of not doing your research.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there was another shop in New Zealand that did something similar where they called the shop name, I think it was Huri Huri.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, what was it, Ollie? Huru Huru.
Oh.
She's got a secret fact checker.
You don't allow that.
Yeah.
She's coming back.
We don't
All right.
do that. We
After
kick
the
out
spell of
anyone.
the sin bin. No, come on. Let's be charitable. That's first offence.
Back in a second.
Work out the logic of when and why people disappear.
Yellow card.
Hey, Angela.
You're back. Yeah, you're back.
That sometimes happens. It was just when you brought in this Ollie character on
Oh yeah. Hulu, which means pubic hair, and they thought it meant feather. They named their beer.
That's
Pubic
right.
hair.
It was
Wow.
Hell's Basement Brewery, wasn't it? And they thought that huru huru means feather, which I think it does mean feather, right?
In
it's-
Samoan, it means like feather or light.
Yeah, but also means pubic hair. And they said that we acknowledge we did not consider the commonplace use of this word and that consultation with a Maori representative would have been a better reference than online dictionaries. Which I think is fair.
I mean, if the beer is piss, then yeah, maybe it's fine.
But, so, did you say, how's it said, Angela? Is it huru huru?
Huru huru, yeah.
Huru huru. So that was a brewery, right? That's not even the only time that a business has called itself huru huru and accidentally named itself pubes in New Zealand. So I think last year there was a shop in Wellington, which it was a leather goods shop, and they called themselves huru huru as well. And they had the same thing. They thought it meant wool or fur, which it apparently can sometimes mean, but also pubes. And it's on all their clothes now. They put it, it's labelled on the linings of all their jackets.
When you say these words, Angela, it does sound like a very beautiful language, but I think having your word for pubes means many other different things. I think that might be a mistake.
I mean, I think the Maori might be thinking that, man, these Westerners really are into pubes. Especially when porn shows it shaved off.
Yeah, old school. Yeah.
Absolutely bewildered. So is your mum, you're half Samoan, is that right?
Yeah, I'm half Samoan, half Indian.
Got it.
So mum's Samoan, dad's Indian.
And this is an incredibly ignorant question coming up. Be ready. But Maori and Samoan languages, because you sound like you're saying the Maori language as if you're a native speaker.
They're really similar.
Are they really similar?
Pacific Island languages are really similar. Like counting sounds really similar. In Te Reo or Māori, it's tahi rua toru whā. In Samoan, it's tasi lua tolu whā.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
So it's just like putting on an accent.
Got it. You can get by.
Even we could tell that they were very similar, couldn't we?
Yeah.
Even our ears.
And does Maori mean normal in Maori? Is that all like normal person or something? Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're just normals and everyone else is a freak. Kind of like in ancient Greece, right? You were Greeks and everyone else was a barbarian.
Yeah, that's right.
Or Gentiles as well, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Or the Welsh. That just means foreigner to English. Yeah.
Didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow. I just know that when people do a Welsh accent, it sounds Indian.
It can. Yes, it can.
Yes, it absolutely
like a poor
can.
Welsh accent sounds Indian.
That's true.
No one knows why. It doesn't seem like there should have been a direct link, but there must have been at some point in history because there does seem to be an obvious link.
Yeah.
I wonder if a Welsh person meets an Indian person. It's like, are you trying to take the piss?
Yeah. I really like the Maori word for scissors. It's really sweet, which I'm guessing. Is it kuti kuti?
Ah, no, I didn't know that, but that makes sense. Kuti kuti.
I think kuti kuti.
That's awesome.
Kuti kuti. Yeah.
I hope that. Go on,
I like
Angela.
the Māori word for wee, which is mimi. Mimi.
Really?
It sounds so sweet. I'm just gonna do a mimi.
Well, speaking of that, actually, and I hope that we're not getting these wrong, because obviously we are not native speakers at all. But I did read somewhere that the Maori word for France is oui oui.
Oh wow!
And that it comes from the fact that French people would say oui oui, meaning yes, of course, oui oui. And that's where they got the name. Now, whether that's true,
I'm not sure.
one can only speculate.
Makes sense.
But it kind of makes sense. Like in some, I can only speak for Samoan stuff, but like sausage in Samoan is sosisi.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it's like transliterated almost into from English to the language.
But that's French. It's almost exactly the French word for sausage, saucisse.
Yeah.
So that might be more of a link there than. Certainly, I
So,
think.
obviously there are words like that have come about in the last 200 years when these people who speak different languages are all living in the same country. So with something like a computer or scissors, so like cutty, presumably is because it cuts.
Right.
Is that right? Or is that's not a coincidence? Is that?
No, I think that's right.
So is that like they'll take, in Japan they have slightly kind of, some of their modern words will be
Like katakana?
versions of English words. Will they take kind of English words and sort of put a Pacific Island spin on them?
Yeah, I think it's because like colonization brought all the English words into the circulation, so they put their own spin on it. In Samoa, corned beef is called pisupo, which was pea soup, because they thought that everything that came in a can was pea soup, which they thought was corned beef.
Hey, wow.
So corned beef in a can is called pisupo.
That's really funny.
And how come that's not been
beef
changed? How come that's not been updated?
Well, now it's tradition.
Right, so it just sticks and it's, that makes sense.
But corned beef, and it's like actual corned beef that you buy from the butcher, is called bovi masima, which means beef salted. But in a can, we still call it pisupo.
Oh, and people just spent years thinking, God, this pea soup is a bit funny. This one.
Very chewy, yeah. Very chewy.
Apparently,
Poor vegetarians going to restaurants over there.
there is no vegetarian restaurant in Samoa.
Is corned beef popular? Because we talked recently about how in Hawaii, it's kind of another sort of Pacific island, spam is extremely popular, and I wondered if spam had spread to other islands. I mean, it's a very
spam went to American Samoa, but I think corned beef is a currency in Samoa. If someone gets married, if there's a funeral, you go with corned beef as a gift.
Wow. Do you?
Yeah.
You're not sprinkling it on the bride as she walks down the aisle like confetti.
Oh no, it's not like confetti.
That's some horrible meaty confetti that you're throwing at people.
Yeah.
Just like stuck on the face.
You may now kiss you're all right.
Oh, delicious. I go in for a facelift.
I love corned beef.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I like corned beef too.
I can't picture what it tastes like for some reason right now.
Well, that's
it
because
tastes like
looking and
meat.
tasting is. Yeah.
Corned beef.
Yeah.
So when the thing that was on the Coca-Cola vending machines, what did you say it was? What did you say it was?
Kia ora. Mate, but mate,
okay.
Yeah.
And that's spelled Kia ora like that, right?
Kia ora, yeah.
Okay, cool. So in 1984 in New Zealand, there was the telephone tolls operator was called, one of them was called Angella Dravid, and she would always answer the phone with Kia ora, or however you say it, sorry. But everyone else always just used hello or ahoy-hoy or whatever you say on the phone. If you don't say that.
Ahoy-hoy is a bird here.
Is it?
Ahoy-hoy is a bird.
Wow.
Yeah, I must say ahoy-hoy is not how people answer the phone in England.
They used to. Oh, well, once.
Yeah.
The first time almost, and then that was it, right?
It was back in the day. It was one way to answer the phone was to say ahoy-hoy. Yeah.
Isn't it? That's what Mr. Burns says when he answers the phone as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's weird because do you say it because you're on land?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know if the logic applies to that extent.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Was it one of the first suggestions for greetings? Because hello was Alexander Graham Bell's invention, wasn't it?
That's right, yeah.
I think Alexander Graham Bell was trying to come up with a successful second one. Or it was Arthur Conan Doyle or someone who had his own cool way of doing it.
It's 5:21 a.m. and all these facts are all coming together in a big corned beef mush, aren't they? Anyway, so this lady called Angella Dravid, she was saying Kia ora, but she got fired because they wanted everyone to use their English greetings. But then that became a massive national issue. And there were a debate in all the newspapers and everything like this. And people really just were saying, look, you can't fire someone for using the traditional greeting, and people would ring up the toll exchange and ask to speak to the kia ora lady. They were like, we only want to speak to her. We don't want to speak to anyone else. Of course, she'd been fired. And then suddenly all the airline pilots started using the term to greet passengers, and it started becoming a much bigger thing. And then the Prime Minister, who was Robert Muldoon at the time, he intervened, and then she got her job back. And then it became the standard way of greeting in that telephone exchange.
Really?
Yeah, it's quite cool. Right?
Kia ora is
cool.
like also quite similar to Cook Island as well. I think it's kia orana is hello. And I think there's an orange juice in Australia called kia ora.
Yeah, that's
it's
how
kind of sad that
we
they
know
embrace
it.
kia ora more than we did.
Yeah, I would say we know it in the UK more as the fruit drink.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not legally an orange juice.
It's a fruit flavored.
I know how you guys are with your Jaffas and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So in Samoan culture, there seems to be a really interesting thing, which I don't know if it happens many other places, where there's a third gender that's been very traditional. Whawhawhinie, yeah. So can you explain that? It said it's sometimes a younger son.
It's kind of strange. I'm not too. This is what I think it is, but in villages, like there's fe'aus or jobs, chores around the house that are designated to men and women, and sometimes families will have more boys than more girls, and so they kind of swap the role. So the youngest is generally taken in to become to help with the women's fe'aus or the women's chores. And I think in Samoan culture, it's normally the men who do the cooking, because it's quite intense cooking. You're cooking in an umu, which is underground.
Yeah, so cool.
Wow, really? You cook fully underground?
Well, underground is, and the Maori have it as well with hangi. So they cook. But yeah, they cook. They dig a pit and then they put coals underneath, and then
you sort of tinfoil the thing, don't you, and pop it in? Yeah. We used to have
banana leaves and
we used to have it in Australia a lot, actually. Sort of locals would dig these pits. You'd go around for lunch, and I'm just going to bury lunch, and we'll have it.
You do a little burial, pay your respects, and then dig it up afterwards.
I find preheating the oven a hassle, but if you've got to dig a huge bit every time you have a steak, that's a pain in the ass. Yeah,
you wouldn't do it every day, because Samoa is very Christian, so you would do it on a Sunday after church. Everyone would gather together for the feast. But whawhawhinie, I think, is more for the chores, and also in Samoan culture, you can give your kid to your grandparents to raise as well.
Oh.
While you have, so it's more of like kids are more to help the village life rather than your own family.
Is that when you get to a limit of sort of like, okay, you've got 6 now, so any additional children go to other family members? Is that
like my mum was raised by another family because she had quite a few in her own family, and it's just
how interesting.
It's a really community-based sort of thing.
And is that, I'm again, this is an ignorant question, because just coming from someone who was raised by my own parents, would that be a weird thing? Would your mum go, I wish you raised me, you were my mother? Or is it so natural there that there's no conflict?
I think there's psychological issues, I'm sure, of not knowing that your sister is actually your mum. There would be some but at the same time it wouldn't bother you. It would kind of be like, that's how the way was. It's the Wha Samoa, the Samoan way.
Because when that was an EastEnders plot line, it really bothered them.
Oh, God,
that's obviously a very different thing.
Yeah.
Wow.
That plot line in Samoa would just be like, so what? I'm your mum and your sister.
Just have a feast tomorrow and we'll sort it out.
Get your shovels and we'll sort this out over lunch.
Yeah. But also,
did you see a shovel coming towards you and just sort of go, uh-oh, has someone died, or are we having a big lunch? What's going on?
You don't want to mess up the what you're digging up as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry,
You wanna
it's Grandad.
exhume a
I'm
body,
sorry. Yeah.
You've got to shovel and then do trowel work, I guess, down to the fine layer. And then the very fine layer is with little brushes like the archaeologists to make it absolutely perfect.
That's the seasoning, isn't it?
Yeah. I read about the national rugby team of Samoa. They have had an absolute nightmare over the last year.
Really?
They played a match against another team in Perth, Australia, on the 23rd of February, 2020. Unfortunately, it was the 23rd of February and things were starting to get a bit shut down. So they quarantined in New Zealand on the way home. And then Samoa shut its borders. So they all had to live in a single church. It took them 100 days to get home after just playing one match in Perth. They're just, and these are, they're huge guys, and there were 20 of them sharing a single room, but they kept training, and apparently the biggest argument they had was over the bingo that they played to entertain themselves. Which I think is lovely, yeah.
That's amazing.
What they've been up to.
There was a thing in Samoa that I read about in the 1890s, and that was cricket became massive for a short amount of time. Oh, yeah, really?
Yeah, there's a Samoan version of cricket called kilikiti.
Oh,
so it's another one of those translated words.
Do you know how it's different?
The bat is different, so it's like the bat normally like has a handle and like a sword,
Yeah.
But the Samoan one is just like a massive plank.
really?
Fair enough.
So you have to sort of how uncomfortable. I feel like
yeah.
Well, I read that when it first came over, the games would be like 150 players per side, and they would last for like 2 or 3 weeks each game. And basically everyone would just get involved and everyone would love it. But of course the authorities were like, well, who's looking after all of the crops and who's looking after all the animals and stuff? And they kind of banned it, because there was just too many people playing at once.
So they limited the team sizes, but they kept the fundamental thing, which is that one game of cricket lasts 2 weeks. That's good. At least they kept some of the traditions of the game.
Or one of those things like if you hit the ball over the taro patch, you have to at least plant 50 taro seedlings before you come back to the field or something.
Yeah, exactly. Incorporate the work into the game. I like that thinking. Don't take their game away.
Do we have some stuff on other...
I'm just thinking my parents probably met over a game of cricket. I don't know.
Really?
Well, I'm joking. I'm Indian and Samoan.
Oh,
yeah. I forgot you were half Indian, and I forgot we're not supposed to mention cricket to Indian people after they battered England last week. We're still a bit sore about that one.
Because I stayed in the UK, I jokingly said that I was related to Rahul Dravid, and it did not extend my stay. It just raised more questions, and I couldn't answer anything.
Next flight out, you're gone.
Amazing.
We actually just got a message from one of the many backstage heroes who's making this work tonight, Ethan, who works for QI, saying my dad's Indian, and when he does an Indian accent, he sounds Welsh. So everyone can fall into the trap.
Wow.
You can confirm. We were talking a bit about Polynesia recently, I think, between us and the mythology. And we were talking about Moana, which is Moana, the film, is set on a Polynesian island. I think, it's sort of could be Samoa, it's not made totally clear, could be Hawaii. But I just wanted to share with people who didn't know that Maui, who's the main god in Moana, are you familiar with the concept of Maui, Angela?
Yes, yeah.
I'm familiar with The Rock. That's who plays him, is it?
That's it, played by The Rock, very famously, yes. The way he died, which they didn't show in the Disney film, is by climbing into a goddess's vagina and being crushed by the obsidian teeth in there.
Wow. This is why I'm still single.
There was that thing as well. This is not quite a mistranslation, but a translation issue, which was when Moana went to Italy, they had to rename it Oceana because Moana is the name of a very famous porn star there. And they
Oh,
didn't
wow.
the kids, sort of going, I want to be Moana. Because no, you don't. Moana Pozzi is her name. And they were worried that the kids would go home after the movie, Google, let me find some videos of Moana.
And find out how Maui really died.
Actually, much more true to the original in many ways, that porn star version of events.
Yeah. In New Zealand, you grow up you grow up with the legends of Maui because the formation of New Zealand is really based with Maui. Like the North Island is, I think it's the fish. It's and in the South Island is him fishing.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the waka. Sorry, the South Island is the waka. It's the boat that he sailed in, and the North Island kind of looks like a fish, so it's the fish hook. I don't know. It's really New Zealand is really based around Maui legend.
Wow. It's him just dropping stuff, his bits and pieces places was how the various islands.
Yeah, he dragging the sun as well. He slowed the sun down because it was going too fast, and
Isn't it Maui's fault that we are mortal? I feel like
yes, I think so.
I think he was a naughty boy.
But they were pretty cutting edge, blaming it on a man at least.
Yeah. That was it. It was when he was climbing he was trying to get immortality by climbing into this goddess's vagina and then up through her mouth in a reversal of the birthing process. I think. I don't know if that was going to work.
Full reversal? It's not quite a full reversal.
Look, the logic doesn't hold firm, but his friends were watching, and his friends were birds, I believe, and he said, you mustn't laugh, by the way, because if you laugh at what I'm doing, then the goddess will wake up and crush me with her vagina teeth. But the birds couldn't help themselves, because it is probably a funny sight watching her mate crawl inside a goddess's vagina. And so they burst out laughing, and that's what crushed him. And then for his arrogance, I think the goddess said, all right, you're mortal, and so are all human beings.
Bloody hell.
Makes me think of Maui being the first introvert. He's like, I'm going straight back to the womb.
Angela, we're going to have to wrap up. It genuinely doesn't feel like we've done 35 minutes, but we have. The clock is not lying. Thank you so much, Angela. It's so lovely to meet you. Congratulations on your massive victory on Taskmaster.
Thank you so much. I've really
best.
enjoyed hanging out with you guys.
Yeah, get back to the UK once this pandemic's over. So we can all meet. It'd be lovely to see you. Thank you, Angela, and everyone else. We will be back in a few minutes with our next guest. We're heading over to Australia now to see Mr. Tim Minchin. See you soon.
Hello, everybody. That was fun, wasn't it? Well, now you have to pay. Please go to comicrelief.com/fish and give us all of your money so that it can be spent on fabulous causes around the world. There are many more videos where these came from, so bring all of your money and give it to us. Link is below. Click on the link.